Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's wonderful to have you along for the ride. The thing I said I wasn't going to do yesterday, but I'm doing it. I did it. I couldn't help myself. I did play the what-if game. We talked about playing the what-if game when it came to the drops. Oh, put those drops back on there. Those drops are catches, and then all of a sudden, how many passing yards would the Eagles have had and all that stuff. I actually went back. And I have the number for you, and it's a hell of a lot more than I anticipated. Goodness gracious. And there's no play where that, if that catch happened, then this wouldn't have happened. Like, there's no, he made this big play, or he missed this big play, but then he made this one. The only thing that's close is the drop by Devontae Smith down the middle of the field, and then Saquon had the huge 62-yard run for the second touchdown of the game there for the Eagles. That's the only one, but that's not in the passing game. That's not in the passing game. So no one drop negated another big passing play is what I'm saying there. I'll give you the number. It's a ballpark number, but still staggering is the word that comes to mind. When I did the math and I was, that's the grand total? That's what the Eagles left out there on the field against the Rams? Oh, my goodness gracious. Don't do that against the Commanders, please. Speaking of the Commanders, Kellen Moore is getting ready for the Commanders. He said the only thing he really missed out on last week when he was interviewing, for 3 head coaching positions was he didn't get to watch a basketball game that he really wanted to watch. So, okay, all right. He did take 100% of the blame for the safety. And when he said that, I know a lot of people are going to jump on that and be like, I was right. I told you that was on the Kellen Moore and his dumb play call and his dumb formation. He did exactly what a coordinator should do, and he did exactly what a head coach should do in that situation. We'll let you hear what he had to say about the safety and taking blame. And also the game plan. We catch Kellen Moore in a wee bit of a lie, folks. If Jalen Hurts is hurt more than we know, if he is hurt more than we're being led on to believe, if the confident smirk that he gave following the Eagles divisional round win over the LA Rams, I finished the game, didn't I? I finished the game. Will you be out there next week? I'll be out there. Okay. All right. If he is actually injured instead of hurt, and if you've seen the movie The Program, you understand the difference. If he's actually injured, then, yeah, I would assume the Eagles would have a little bit of a different game plan going into it, assuming Jalen Hurts is still going to play. I believe him when he says he's going to play. It's just about how mobile will he be. So in one breath, Kellen Moore yesterday answered a question about Jalen Hurts' impact on the game plan if he's not 100%. No, impact on the game plan. Game plan is the same. We'll take information as it comes throughout the week. Game plan is the same. Okay. Then later on, he acknowledges, in response to a question from Zach Berman, he acknowledges how he should have done things differently after Jalen Hurts suffered the injury. Oh, so things do change when your quarterback isn't as mobile. We'll let you hear it. Vic Fangio, just the media yesterday, also talking about Jayden Daniels. I don't want to put this on him. Now, look, I don't want him to be very good. I'll admit that because obviously he plays for the Washington Commanders, who, as you know, is in the same division as the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't want Jayden Daniels to be good at football, but I also don't want to I don't want to put out any bad vibes for any rookie in the NFL unless it's for the Cowboys. Jayden Daniels, I haven't heard this many good things about a rookie quarterback not playing like a rookie quarterback or not being a rookie. I haven't heard this many good things since Carson Wentz. He's playing like a 10-year veteran out there. How long has this kid been in the league? What is he, 35? I haven't heard this many nice things said about a rookie quarterback since Carson Wentz. And don't get me wrong, Jayden Daniels has earned every single compliment. And early in the season, we talked about former Eagles tight end Zach Ertz, now catching passes left and right here for the Washington Commanders. We talked about how Jayden Daniels hadn't been a rookie since his first couple of weeks in the NFL. Like, he is a seasoned veteran now, that kind of thing. Well, Vic Fangio said, well, yeah, he's a young player, but by birth certificate only. And I was like, well, that's how it's measured for everyone. But I understand what he's saying. He is playing like a 10-year vet. And one of the things that makes me nervous about this game, one of the things I certainly acknowledge, even though I still see the Eagles winning it, and the line has now moved from 4.5 to 6.5 in the Eagles' favor. Eagles are 6.5 point favorites, for clarity. Jayden Daniels just won't die. Like, he just won't die. The garbage touchdown or not, whatever. Even if it was in the first game against the Eagles or it was a game-winning drive against the Eagles in the second matchup, he just won't go away. The Hail Mary against the Bears earlier in the season is a shining example of that. But goodness gracious, this guy just won't go away. And a 45-point performance, 38 of those points scored by the Washington Commanders offense. Yeah, I'd say he's pretty damn good at what he does. And as the season went on, he got better and better. No even the sniff of a rookie wall when it came to Jayden Daniels' performance. So Vic Fangio gushes about the Commanders quarterback. And then in my quest of putting together an incredible amount of evidence that Vic Fangio may be my dad, Vic Fangio was asked about Darius Slay getting better and better and better and better and better, even though he is 34 years young. Ugh. Yeah, Darius Slay might sit down like that now, being 34 years old, which is just ancient, but playing some pretty good football here, especially in the playoffs. Did not have himself a great regular season. Let's all be on the same page there. Very banged up throughout the year, which hints at age, obviously. And then the other part of it is he has played very well in the postseason. Would have loved for him to have that pick Sunday afternoon at the Link. I think it was Stafford's first or second throw, whatever it was. He almost had that interception. Got a hand on it, couldn't get both hands on it. But Vic Fangio, very complimentary of his 34-year-old back. So that is what we'll get into coming up in just a little bit. Oh, 76ers, everyone's angry. If you guys somehow stayed up to watch that game last night, and then you're catching me live right now at 6:52 in the morning. Well, way late start time today. Me scusi. Apparently there was some yelling going on. Kai Carlin, friend of the show, put out there, Sixers Newswire USA Today, Kai Carlin put it out there saying that Nick Nurse opened up his press conference with a rant on how the Sixers need to basically work harder and be better. Oh, my goodness. And then in Kai's story that I was reading, and by the way, Nick Nurse is right. That was awful. And Stan Van Gundy last night was, there's no other way, like, he was putting the Sixers over his knee. That's what he was doing. Calling out their lack of hustle. Even at the end of the game when it was like a 35-point difference in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, Stan Van Gundy's like, well, the Sixers really didn't put much into this game tonight. And even Brian Anderson, the play-by-play guy, is just like, damn. Like, I could tell that he was shocked by how much. It was almost, I was waiting for Brian Anderson to ask Stan Van Gundy, dude, is it personal? Did you want the job that Nick Nurse got? Like, what's going on here? And the only thing I could think of was, I remember Tony DeLeo? Remember he coached the Sixers for a minute, right? Tony DeLeo coaches the Sixers. And in that playoff series against the Orlando Magic, coached by Stan Van Gundy, there's a little jab from Stan Van Gundy after one of the games where Tony DeLeo, and he's the only NBA head coach I've ever heard complain about 3 seconds. 3 seconds in the lane. Defensive 3 seconds. Oh, you don't know the 3 seconds. It's just 3 seconds. There's so many 3 seconds. And Tony DeLeo. And I just remember watching it and be like, did this guy win a contest? How was he the Sixers head coach? But anyway, he put out that stuff, and Stan Van Gundy called him out on it after the press conference. After his press conference, Stan Van Gundy goes, yeah, I think we might as well concentrate on who won the game and being better tonight as opposed to 3 seconds. That kind of thing. It was the only thing I could think of that would make Stan Van Gundy at all perturbed at the way the Sixers were playing, to the point where it sounded like it was so damn personal. But it was personal for some people down there in over there in Denver, because they were chanting about Joel Embiid. Where's Embiid at? Where's Embiid at? Where's Embiid at? Which I thought was like a very difficult chant to do as a crowd, but they did it. Good for them. And message was received. But it was a pretty terrible game by the 76ers. In case you didn't see yet, they lost 144 to 109. Maxey was 3 for 10 from 3 with a game-high 28 points. He had 10 assists. Nikola Jokic had his 4th straight triple-double by the 3-minute mark of the third quarter. It was terrible. 18-2 at the close of the first quarter in fast break points. That was the first quarter, not the first half. 18-2 fast break points. I think it finished at 27-7. I don't even know. But it was pretty bonkers. It was pretty bonkers. So, yeah, I will mention that and what was going on. Because when I did read Kai Carlin's story, one of the things was a Denver beat reporter put out there that they were sharing the wall. The media room shared a wall with the Sixers locker room, and there was a lot of yelling and foul language. Those are the reports coming out of Denver. Sixers are back Friday, so vacate the city. No, they're taking on the Cavs, so it's only going to get better. And what makes it also better is the Sixers take on the Cavs on Friday. My in-laws will be in town. They're all Ohio State people and Cleveland people. They're all Ohio all the time, so that'll be a fun game to watch with the fam. You know what I mean? All right. Let me give you the number first. I'll give you the number first. The Philadelphia Eagles, in their game against the LA Rams, I went back and I did look at the drops. Now, in case you forgot, the passing game, I thought I saw a number of 67 net yards passing. That's also not great. But in that game, Jalen Hurts completed 15 of 20 passes for 128 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Did have a fumble, didn't lose it. Did get sacked in the end zone for a safety, but that's that. But Jalen Hurts, 15 of 20 for 128 yards. So I went back and I actually watched. Like, all right, let's play the what-if game here. What if Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown catch that ball on their first possession? What if he has Devontae Smith catch that ball deep down the middle of the field, which was even deeper than I thought? What if in the second quarter, on the 2nd and 1, he goes deep to A.J. Brown, and A.J. comes down with that ball inbounds and touchdown? What if Dallas Goedert's 18-yard reception in the second quarter, 19-yard reception, what if that was not negated by Mekhi Becton being downfield? Illegal lineman, downfield, illegal man downfield. What if all that? So in the first quarter, there's a 2nd and 6. Jalen Hurts drops back, throws into triple coverage, soft zone, if you want to call it that. A.J. Brown goes right in the middle of it. Jalen Hurts, perfect pass in the middle of 3 L.A. Rams, and A.J. Brown drops it. Now, let me also say this. A.J. Brown's dealing with a knee injury, okay? The knee injury would prohibit him from getting to the spot. He was at the spot. He dropped the ball. So the knee had nothing to do with this situation. But if he would have made that catch, that's 12 yards. That would have put the Eagles at the 45-yard line, their own 45-yard line, and driving, right? Then later in the first quarter, 1st and 10 from the Eagles' own 7-yard line. It was the 17-yard line, Jalen Hurts drops back and heaves it down the middle of the field to Devontae Smith, who rises up and catches the football and then is just destroyed by Witherspoon. And he drops it. All right. So unfortunately, he couldn't come down with it. That would have put the Eagles at the LA 35-yard line. That's a 40-plus yard play. 40-plus yard play. If Devontae Smith comes out with that ball that was put there perfectly by the Eagles quarterback. Then in the second quarter, 2nd and 1, the deep throw to A.J. Brown. If he doesn't bobble that and go out of bounds and doesn't corral the ball or corrals the ball before going out of bounds, you're talking about at least being down at maybe the 2-yard line, the 3-yard line, if not in the end zone for the touchdown. That would have been a 37-yard play. These are all longer than I anticipated. And then the penalty was 19 yards that was negated by the Goddard catch was negated by the Mekhi Becton illegal man downfield. That was a 19-yard play. Just ballpark. It's like 107 yards that were left out there on the football field. 107 yards for Jalen Hurts, who only ended up with 128 yards passing in this game. So this is a very different stat line for the people that just care about the stats. Now, for me, I don't care about the stats in terms of the wins and losses. I care more about how it looks. That's why, to me, taking a safety, and we went through sack court yesterday, where I think we pinned 4 sacks on Jalen Hurts and 3 on the offensive line. That's what bothers me more than stats, like how you play the game, not what you accumulate as the game goes on, but the way you play is a little bit more important than just the numbers afterwards. And I know, hey, sometimes they're great. Sometimes they do a great job of measuring and really telling the story. But as I always tell you, numbers never lie, but they sure as hell can deceive. And Jalen Hurts' passing numbers in the postseason really throughout his career have not really been all that impressive in terms of, 300 yards, 400 yards. No, first of all, when you're putting up yards like that, usually you're losing. And you're just trying to scurry to get back into the game late. So for me, it's more about the way he plays. And when he takes unnecessary sacks or he doesn't throw the ball away when he has opportunities to throw the ball away, and that's where I'm talking about limiting the damage. I'm not talking about him being Superman and coming up with some 100-yard play. No, I'm just talking about him spiking a football, not taking a sack, sailing it over a receiver's head to go out of bounds so he doesn't have to take the unnecessary sack. And on top of that, also maybe the unnecessary hit. I take all that into consideration more so than I do 128 yards, because this isn't fantasy football. He's not getting some point boost when he hits 200 yards or 250 yards or 300 yards. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the score at the end of the game. Not, the Eagles only won by a field goal and Jalen Hurts had only 120 yards passing, so that takes away 4 points, so they lose. No, that's not. That's why watching the games and watching how he plays, not just what he accumulates throughout a game, that's what matters most. So the numbers to me don't bother me. 128 yards doesn't bother me. But if you want to play the what-if game, they left over 100 yards passing on the ground by drops and 1 penalty. And if you take that 1 penalty away, you're still talking about 80 yards through the air that they didn't get. So that would at least put him at the 200-yard mark. So to me, I think that I don't have a problem with Jalen Hurts throwing the football. I don't have a problem with the numbers that aren't there. I would like the drops to go away. But again, if you play this what-if game, then you got to put in the potential interception that he threw to A.J. Brown when he was in double coverage in the end zone. That's why I don't like the what-if game. But if you want to play it, that's what was left on the table. Over 100 yards, thanks to drops. As far as the safety and everything went yesterday, let's get to Kellen Moore first and foremost. He was addressing the media yesterday when he was talking about that play. This is what Kellen Moore had to say about the safety.
After Jalen's injury, there were...
If I could follow up on the safety, when you're evaluating that, obviously there's a lot at play there. The protection, the defense that they played, the call, and Jalen's decision-making. If you could get as granular as you can, how do you assign, I'm not saying blame, but how do you evaluate that and say, okay, this is what should have happened ideally?
Yeah, that one's on me. That one's simply on me. Chasing a particular look that is more traditional in the open field, and we were backed up, and that's one that, hey, I'll call something different in that situation based off of just the way it played out.
So 100% on you. Yeah. You don't say, hey, you know what, he should have gone to Dallas there to get rid of the ball.
There's things within it, but obviously, my number one focus is to put the guys in the best position to be successful, and didn't feel like I did.
I would certainly agree with that when it comes to what was going on with damn it, now I'm getting feedback. I don't know why it would. Come on. Big bucks, no whammies. There we go. I admire him for trying to take that one on the chin. Like, you still can't convince me that Jalen Hurts couldn't throw that football where he had a passing lane, middle of the field. And the other thing is, you know where your receivers are supposed to be. So the idea of, Goddard wasn't there yet. He was about to be. And of the worst options, he took the second worst. When you really consider the options there, look, did Kellen Moore put him in the best possible position to win? No. Did he put him in the best possible position to be successful? No. I thought he explained it really well. Yeah, it was an open field play, not when you're backed up. So that didn't make any damn sense to me. And for whatever reason, that's the play that Kellen Moore went with. I don't get the delayed route. I don't get the shotgun. I don't get just not doing what you did in the first play of the game where you line up under center and you just hand the ball off. Where's that at? Let's go back to that. Let's do that one. But no. So I agree with him that he could have been better. But 100% bad play call. 100% agree with that. But when he says the thing about, there's things that happen within the play. Yeah, you're damn right they are. Either that's Dallas not being as delayed, whether that's Jalen just spiking the football in the middle of the field instead of taking the safety. Look, 92-yard play wasn't going to happen. All right. So I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for a completion to Dallas Goedert. I'm just asking to not take the safety. Credit to Kellen Moore. He did all the right things there when it came to what a future head coach should be doing. So I give him credit for that. The other thing is, and I know a lot of people wanted to hear that, so there you go. The other thing is Kellen Moore on the health of Jalen Hurts. And if his health isn't 100%, do you change the game plan?
Same game plan formula. Obviously, like any players on our team, if you have to make adjustments as weeks progress or games progress, you do, but very similar plan.
Okay, very similar plan. All right, so later in the press conference, this is what I was alluding to earlier. Zach Berman asked him, okay, well, hold on a second. After Jalen Hurts suffered the injury, he wasn't as mobile. Do you call different plays in that situation if you had to do over again?
After Jalen's injury, there were 2 sacks where he took deep drops, and then the safety and the second down sack on the last drive. Why were those the play calls there when he wasn't moving as well, clearly?
Yeah, those are 2 situational calls. Certainly, I dig really deep into whether if you're in that situation again, do you probably give yourself a better opportunity? Certainly, I lean that way. Just going back through it, everything, being backed up and playing that situation out, and then in the 4-minute offense, we had some success on some movements, and obviously they played that one really, really well.
If you have a quarterback that is going to be banged up, and I don't expect Jalen Hurts to be 100%, that looked rough. Getting pulled down from behind like that, and you're on your ankle, you're on your knee. I haven't seen anything from Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport or Jeff McClain or anybody regarding Jalen Hurts' status. Today, the walkthrough will take place, so I look forward to seeing what the estimation is about Jalen Hurts practicing. But if your offensive line undoubtedly is getting taken for 3 sacks in a game, that was undisputed when we did sack court yesterday. 3 of those were on the offensive line. And you're not going to have a mobile quarterback. Then you got to do what you can to protect him. Saquon's going to be the star of the show. We all know that. We know that Dan Quinn is going to be all out to stop Saquon Barkley. But if Jalen shows that he's not as mobile, if Jalen shows that he can't rip off a run, then they're going to be treating him like he's Kenny Pickett back there, which means they're going to be treating Saquon Barkley with a mob mentality of, forget about that guy. Forget about Hurts. Just get after Barkley. Because Hurts isn't going to burn you on that read option if he pulls it. He's not going to burn you if he drops back on a quarterback draw and then just goes up the middle for 22 yards. No, not going to happen. If that's shown, and if the Eagles make it obvious, well, then that's going to put a damper on things when it comes to that game plan that Kellen Moore originally said he wasn't going to change, and now said, well, if I had to do it over again, yeah, I'd probably call different plays there. All right. So look, I don't want to put it, like, I know it's easy. I know it's really easy to put interviewing for 3 other head coaching jobs. I know it's easy to put it on that. Say, oh, well, you should have been concentrating on doing this. You're damn right he should have. This is why this is the dumbest thing in sports. Like, hold on a second. My guy can interview for other jobs when he's supposed to be getting ready for the game this week? I don't like that. And I know it's how the NFL works. I'm saying it's not how the NFL should work. You want to do interviews? Wait for the season to be over. The season, everyone's season, after the Super Bowl. Doing free agency. Why not treat the coaches the same? Oh, they needed a head start. Okay, they need a head start. Okay. All right. Sorry, it's going to be hard. Especially if you do it wrong, then it's tampering. Then you get doc picks and stuff. Like, why? We're damn ridiculous. The only time I would sort of accept it is if they allowed conversations to start during the week of the Pro Bowl. Because in the week of the Pro Bowl, and then you got another week to really prepare for the Super Bowl. So it's 2 weeks. I can understand 3 hours in a 2-week span. While you're literally getting ready for the playoff game, don't like it at all. According to him, again, all he did was miss a basketball game because of his interviews. But still, I don't like it. I'd rather him take it. Maybe he needs that reset button. I don't know. Some guys come home, they watch the game. Some people come home, they rock a little Call of Duty out. You know what I mean? And then they get back to okay, that was the mental reset I needed. Now I get back to the game. Maybe he wouldn't have delayed the route. Maybe it wouldn't have been a delayed route with Dallas Goedert. He'd be over the middle of the field. Maybe we're talking about a 6-yard gain instead of a safety in that situation. Anyway, that's what he had to say yesterday. As far as Vic Fangio goes, Vic got asked about Jayden Daniels and just no longer being a rookie. Here's how Fangio handled it.
He's a young quarterback by birth certificate, not by the tape. You know, the guy's playing extremely well. You could tell how much they think he's playing, so good by the volume of their offense and the things they trust him to do. And he's come through for them in a big way. Yeah, he's tough to handle.
Is this the best you've ever seen a rookie play at that position?
Probably. Yeah.
What's the teaching point?
Yeah, he's the best I've ever seen. Vic Fangio coached the Philadelphia Stars, people. He coached the Philadelphia Stars. That's how far back he goes. For the kids watching and listening right now, the Philadelphia Stars were a USFL team that later moved to Baltimore, and Sean Landetta punted for that team. Okay? You see where I'm at here? Jim Mora coached that team. Like, this is what we're doing. 1984? 1986? Something like that. I don't know. But it was almost as old as me. And Vic Fangio coached that team. Is Jayden Daniels the best rookie you've seen at that position? Probably, is how he answered that question. That's going back a long ways. Again, high praise for Jayden Daniels. And he absolutely is deserving of it. I'm impressed as hell with this kid. Wait, what? Anyway. Wait, what the hell's going on here? There we go. I'm pushing buttons, and I shouldn't. So that was what Fangio had to say about Jayden Daniels. And then this was my favorite part of the press conference for obvious reasons. So Darius Slay had his first interception in game 1 against the Packers. Eagles were on fire as a secondary. Corners getting picks. Quinyon Mitchell getting picks. Everything was great. No injury update either, by the way, from anybody regarding Quinyon Mitchell or Jalen Hurts. But Darius Slay has played great. He's 34 years old, and in 2 games in the postseason, he has looked 24. Like, in terms of the speed, the agility, being a guy to be, Johnny on the spot and all that stuff. I still can't get over his interception, his makeup speed on that play. That was incredible. But yeah, he's been playing great. And then yesterday, Vic Fangio got asked about Darius Slay playing this well at this age.
In Slay's case, you don't see corners at that age very often. What is it that allows him to be effective at age 34?
He's like some good Italian Dago red wine. It gets better with age. And he's still in good shape, hadn't lost much of his movement, still really likes to play. And I think that's a big part of it.
He went Italian. I don't think he had to go Dago. I don't think he had to go with the slur that, which I find hilarious. I mean, who am I kidding? But yeah, he's like a fine Italian red wine. It's better with age, like a nice Chianti. You know what I mean? And he has. He did not have a great regular season. I think we're all on the same page there, right? I think we're on the same page there. But when it came to everything else in the postseason so far, 2 games, pretty damn well. Breaking up plays, not getting burnt like toast throughout these games. I'm here for it. Yeah, I just wanted to double check. Yeah, he did not have an interception during the regular season, but already has 1 in his back pocket. Blankenship 4 on the regular season. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson 6. Well, 10 picks by your safeties through the regular season. That's pretty nice. And then Bond had 1, and then Nakobe Dean had 1. By the way, I don't think I said this yesterday. This is the game where Nakobe Dean is going to be missed. Fangio was also asked yesterday about why they went Oren Burks over Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Literally, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. 0 defensive snaps in this game against the Rams. Oren Burks played the defensive snaps at he filled in for Nakobe Dean. Fangio said, yeah, we had planned on using Trotter, but Oren Burks basically had a really good week of practice. So they didn't want to change anything. They thought they had good chemistry, good flow, him and Zach Bond. So they were on the same page, so they didn't want to make the change. It worked out in the fourth quarter, especially when Oren Burks came up with a huge stop. But when this game was getting into the fourth quarter, I was looking at the total tackles, and this is always a concern. Reed Blankenship and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson were your leading tacklers. That's never good. Never good. That's really bad. They shouldn't be getting that far, or they shouldn't have that many opportunities to make tackles. Your safeties are your last lines of defense usually. It's never good that they're the guys that are leading in tackles, and it's happened actually the last 2 games where I think at halftime at least their safeties were leading in tackles. So Oren Burks, I'd like to see a little bit more all over the field. I'd like to see him do more of what he did in that fourth quarter when it came to knocking down a pass. He was clutch. But this is the game I feel like the Eagles are really going to miss Nakobe Dean. You're going to need that one guy that is very capable of being a QB spy if needed to be on any given play. And hopefully Oren Burks is going to be up to that challenge. I know Zach Bond's going to be up to that challenge, but they're going to need him to do other things, especially with Zach Ertz playing as well as he has this season, especially as well as he's been playing in the postseason. It's not going to be easy without Nakobe Dean playing at the linebacker position for the Eagles. So, yeah, hopefully Oren Burks is up for the challenge. That's what came out of yesterday's press conferences from Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. Real quick, before I get to the chat check, the 76ers lost 144-109 to the Denver Nuggets. It was a bloodbath is what it was. And after the game, I saw Kai Carlin. I was looking for Nick Nurse's press conference to watch it. I nowhere to be found. Kai Carlin says that Nick Nurse spent his post-game presser. Now, I assume this is the beginning of it, with a rant of how he feels like the team weren't ready for this game. The team wasn't ready for this game, and he's upset with the lack of effort, really adamant about it tonight. All right. And then Kai put this in his story, and then I went and just took it off Twitter as well. Rachel Strand, a beat reporter for the Denver Nuggets, Nuggets media room is sharing a wall with the Sixers locker room. Just heard some rather loud yelling and some rather profane language with the cringe emoji. That's what I call that, the cringe emoji. Also, Mile High Rachel is a very interesting handle. But anyway, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear people pissed off. Because, again, if you didn't see the game last night, Stan Van Gundy was on fire yesterday. Stan Van Gundy, opening quarter, first couple of minutes, the Sixers aren't hustling. Nick Nurse has to do something about this. I'm like, oh, he's calling him out on it. That's interesting. Sixers aren't getting back on defense. 11-0 on fast break points in favor of the Nuggets. I was really going after the Sixers so far. Sixers can't play like this without Embiid and expect to win. Yeah, I'll file that under duh, but okay. He's really going after this whole effort thing. And then after the first time out, the TNT broadcast catches up with Nick Nurse, and they're interviewing there on the sidelines. The lovely, the angel of a woman, Allie LaForce, who does a wonderful job as a professional as well. She gets the interview there with the Nick Nurse, and he doesn't say anything about effort. He's like, we got to make shots. And now he's like, thanks. And that's that. I think it was Allie LaForce last night. Anyway, so they didn't say anything about it. So it's interesting that apparently that's what he started his press conference with yesterday. Then Stan Van Gundy just kept going. Said Maxey flopped when Aaron Gordon tried to run through him like he was a lineman. I thought it was a flop by Maxey. And then they ended up reviewing it, and it was upheld that it was not a flop, and it was an offensive foul. It was a charge on Aaron Gordon trying to charge through the chest of Tyrese Maxey. And Maxey didn't even flop. He didn't even hit the ground until Aaron Gordon just continued to run through him. So anyway, that was a dumb thing to say by Stan Van Gundy. But everything else, I thought he was pretty on point. Pretty on point. There's at one point he said the parents of the 76ers players want them all to change their last name so they're not associated with the bloodline anymore. I thought that was a little overboard. Okay, that was me exaggerating. And also in the fourth quarter, once again, was a 25-point game late in the fourth quarter. And Stan Van Gundy says, well, the Sixers just didn't put a lot into this one. It's like, damn, still going. Final was 144-109, and Stan was still burying him. I don't know where that came from. I think I would assume it was just he was pissed off at the effort, pissed off at the whole process, pissed off Joel Embiid wasn't out there playing. Joker, off the top of my head, 27 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists for his fourth straight triple-double. Would have been, I think, his fifth, because he had 9 rebounds the other night, or 9 assists the other night. So he just missed another triple-double by 1 assist. Anyway, Sixers are terrible. They got the Cleveland Cavaliers coming up Friday night, 7 o'clock. So that'll be boatloads of fun. Maxey had 19 points at the half, finished 28. He had 13 in the second quarter. Eric Gordon, 3 for 4 at the half. Gershon Yabusele, 22 points. Oh, no, maybe 23. I think it was 22 minutes. All right, now this is freezing on me. What the hell's going on with this computer today? And I thought hustled every damn time he was out there. He didn't start. Andre Drummond was back in the lineup. Paul George was back in the lineup. Paul George, 11 points in like 28 minutes. Good Lord, this team sucks. I had a conversation with somebody on social media yesterday during the game. A quick back and forth because I pointed out that Van Gundy was just taking it to the Sixers. And he's just like, oh, it's going to be amazing when you and Stan Van Gundy realize that these games don't matter. And I'm like, well, they kind of matter when you're a team that's not even in the playoffs right now. So, yeah, any game can matter. And he was like, well, the Sixers, who cares if they're a 10 seed or a 4 seed? And I'm like, oh, optimism that they'll make the play-in tournament. For the record, I'm going to die on that hill that the Sixers are still going to at least make the play-in tournament. And in the event that Joel Embiid is just cooked, maybe not. But I'll wait for that news. Not eagerly. 22 points for Gershon Yabusele in 24 minutes played, 8 of 13 from the floor, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc against the Nuggets. So Gershon, and the hustle was there as well. It wasn't just the stats, but the hustle was there. And Justin Edwards got another 28 minutes in last night's game. Sixers Cavs Friday night, 7 o'clock. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Maybe I'll tell my father-in-law, my brother-in-law when they're in town on Friday, hey, you guys should go see the Cavs beat the Sixers. I'm not going. But use my promo code Farzy on Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase. Want to go to the game, the concert, or the comedy show, or the event? Game Time app has you covered. And if you use the all-in pricing feature, you toggle that, you know exactly what you're paying before you check out. You take the guesswork out of buying tickets when it comes to the price upon checkout and when it comes to your seats view. You can check out the seats vantage point before you buy it. So again, you take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Also, don't forget about the incredible Game Time Picks feature, which allows you to filter out all the fluff and get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices with the Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. So once again, download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase with the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check. Sean Gillespie, what's popping? Buddy Christ, we need you. Dakota Warren, great name. Good morning, Jacob fan. What's going on? Great shows every day. Big Farzy. Oh, Big Farzy. Wow. Thank you very much. My dad's Big Farzy, but you can call me Big Farzy, whatever. A little blame for everybody. Actually, you know what? Kids say the damnedest things. Got a little bit of a gut going here, and Little Toots asked me the other day if, Daddy, are you pregnant? Wow, thanks for that. Thanks. So now I'm going on a hunger strike. Kids are great. They're the best. A little blame for everybody on that safety. I concur. Little blame. But that was the one I was like, if I had to be on the fence about one in terms of blaming Hurts to the offensive line, that'd be the one. Because, again, it's not like I'm asking Hurts to make any kind of miraculous play. Just asking him to get rid of the football. That's all I'm asking. And I think he's a good enough quarterback to be able to get rid of the football in that situation. Eric Wisniewski, I feel the offensive coordinator checked out, only cares about head coaching job. I'm not going to go that far with it, but I will continue to say, and another hill I'll die on, that it's the dumbest thing. It is the dumbest thing in sports. Sean Kilrain. What's up, buddy? Eric Wisniewski, they want Hurts to play because they don't want another Nick Foles situation. Oh, I understand what you're saying, Eric. I don't. If Jalen Hurts, okay, if Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts were reversed, so if the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts and then drafted Carson Wentz, so let's just live in this horrible universe for a second, okay? Jalen Hurts is 1,000 times more mentally tough than Carson Wentz. 1,000 times. 1,000 times. 1,000 times. It would not have shaken Jalen Hurts the way it did Carson Wentz. If Jalen Hurts was balling out that year and then Carson Wentz came in and won a Super Bowl, it would not get to Jalen Hurts the way it did to Carson Wentz. I say that with full confidence. But I understand your point. Sean Kilrain, Washington Commanders gave up 521 yards to the Detroit Lions. Yeah, here's how they win that. Thoughts on that? I'll tell you how. Okay, ready? Don't give them 5 turnovers. They cashed in 2 of those 5 turnovers. I think it was both interceptions. They cashed those in for 14 points. So don't give them more opportunities. One was a defensive touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. And then the other was a drive. But, yeah. Don't give them 5 more possessions than they need. And as far as the rushing yards go, Eagles got it. Passing yards go, Eagles got it. Dakota Warren, please. People don't realize when you're in that pocket, it's hard to see everything. Yes, Goddard came wide open, but Jalen also had 2 defensive linemen in his face ready to swat the ball down. That's what I'm saying. He had a passing lane. To his right, he had, I know, at least one defensive lineman coming into the frame or coming into the passing lane. But when you feel that pressure, I think that's just where you let it rip. And you also have to do it before you get in the end zone. Because even if you get called for the intentional grounding, you're not in the end zone yet. So it wouldn't be a safety. It would just be half the distance to the goal, and that's where you just probably run it again with Saquon. There's so many better options. The worst would have been drop back in the end zone, run out of the end zone. Dan Orlovsky, shout out to my man. The other option would have been that you really try to fight for more yards in the end zone, fumble, and then give him 7 points instead of 2. So, yeah, I guess this is the third worst option. I've been saying the second. I forgot the one where you could run out of the back of the end zone. That's really a stretch, but yeah. Yeah, but I still say either step up in the pocket when you feel that pressure and just shovel it in the middle of the field, or don't go in the end zone and just throw it away. We can't win a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett or Tanner. I agree. $1 billion. This is one of the best things I've seen today, eh? Thank you so much. You're exactly right. Can't win a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee. I 1,000,000% agree with that. And the reason I agree with that is because a lot of people are saying you can't win it with Jalen Hurts. And that's just, I just think that's dumb. I think that's a dumb thought. If that thought crept in my brain, I'd be like, that's dumb. And then I'd move on. We are due for a big Jalen game this week. At Dakota, I hope they get it. Bilkmark Fraz, hello. Fraz. This makes no sense. People want a back to play. Nino Brown. Good morning, all. Just the thought. The commies can't handle the Birds at all. Onward we march. Super Bowl. Birds. I'm with you. I think the Eagles win this game. I think it's going to be close. I am so cautious about this game just being close. Not about the Eagles winning, but just about being close because Jayden Daniels just won't die. But here's how I feel. Because I feel that way, I feel like it's going to be 45-10 Eagles. Like it's going to be something ridiculous that nobody saw coming. It's going to be a pick six. Oh, the Darius Slay play. Hey, Wine Nutters Wine. Morning, Farzy and friends, enjoying the 6-point favorite up here today. Oh, -6 up here today. Yeah, it was very cold yesterday in Philly. I'll tell you that much. Where are you at, Wine Niners Wine? You say up here. I forget where you're at. Raekwon Purnell, what's going on? You want Jayden to be good, just not good against the Birds. There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to say it. Sean Kilrain, hello. Kenny Gainwell, 1 carry. How about Kenny Gainwell coming in after the Barkley? I think it was the Barkley hand injury. Gainwell comes in, 10-yard pass or 10-yard run, 10-yard reception. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you have it right here. 2 kick return, 71 yards. Good in the pass. Pass pro jumped on her fumble under. Kenny Gainwell has been a phenomenal number 2 guy this year. Phenomenal number 2 guy. And it doesn't look as impressive because Saquon, you know what I mean? I get it. But if you've really paid attention, if Saquon has ever needed a breather, Kenny Gainwell's come in and just 10 yards, 14 yards. It really is incredible, the season that he's had. Am I still in the postseason here? I'm still in the postseason. We're going to see, what was his total rushing average? Oh, that's not impressive. 3.9 is not impressive. Yeah, that's another one. Numbers never lie, but they do deceive. This is deceptive. That would make you feel like he hasn't played well. He's played well, especially when you think about the timing of it all. He's played very well. Eagles have already moved from 4.5 point favorites, 6.5 point. I have 6.5 point favorites. I think Bet Parks had them at 6.5. Will the Sixers even make the playoffs? I'm still dying on that hill. A lot of dying today. LA might want Embiid. Please take him. JB, morning, everyone. Lions got poached yesterday. What do you think, Farzy? If you want to say that a defense or that a coordinator was distracted, what did he get? 13 million, 12 million, Ben Johnson? Holy pots and pans, people. That's a lot. Kellen is going to take a hit on the safety. Yeah, and rightfully so, Mike. I agree. It's like his checkdowns are invisible. And that was an interesting question, Nick Sirianni, yesterday. If the checkdowns are in the right place, because I too had that thought. Godfrey books 6 Philippe in the Eagles. That's great. So do I. Did it go down to 6? Last time it was FanDuel. I saw it on. FanDuel had him at 6.5-point favorites. Let me punch that up and see if that moved. I don't know why that would move overnight. FanDuel still has him at 6.5. That's what they got. Things seem to be working now, so I'm going to check it on Parks too. Sports are fun. Oh, this is one I saw. Hey, thank you. Jalen's clearly being coached that sacks are better than turnovers. I think Hurts is like shell-shocked when it comes to turnovers. Don't ever turn the football over. Ever. And that's a good thing. That's a good thought. But there are other bad things, too, that can be avoided, not just turnovers. True turnovers are the worst. Parks has them at 6.5-point favorites. That's right. Not all sacks are... Oh, I like that. Not all sacks are created equal. That's true. Hurts will take sacks because he can't move now. That's great. Brian, hello. Sure you're not thinking of the Cleveland Browns? Pretty positive. Spurger King. Vic and Farzi are allowed to say the D word, not us. I was surprised he went with Dago. I was surprised. But he let it rip, man. He let it rip. And what I found interesting, I'm just curious. I'm not going to be offended. That's a thing. That's a thing where people will be like, the Italians are the last people. And I know Shane Gillis has a bit on this, and he's certainly not wrong. But like Italians are the last group you can make fun of without like backlash. And I know there's Italians that hate that. I love it. Because people are like, say something derogatory about Italians. It's like, yeah, we built Rome. Shut up. Like, okay. Like, we don't. Okay, you're cute that you think we're terrible, but whatever. So I don't really care. I love and a lot of it is arrogance. Don't get me wrong. A lot of it is arrogance. Like, if you say something derogatory to us, we'll just be like, best food in the world? Really? Okay. So, yeah. Critique us, please. But I always found it funny. And Vic Fangio just let it rip. But I am curious because when these press conferences come out later in the day, in the media, we get these emails with the complete transcript of the press conference. So I'll follow it along. A lot of times if I don't see the press conference early and I get the email first, I'll just scan the email just if there's anything. Oh, I know I want that. Oh, I want that answer. I want that question. And I'll go through it. And in the transcript, the word wasn't used. Like they didn't write it in. And they didn't even hint at anything. He just said he's like a red wine. Okay. I'm curious if I go on the Eagles website and watch it, if they took it out. Anyway, I spent way too much time on this already. Sorry. Eric Wisniewski, hello. The Flyers did win. Thank you. Goodness gracious. How do I leave that out? 7-game point streak now for the Fly Guys? What are they at now? Either way, I'm a happy man. 6-game point streak. Season best 6-game point streak. Tippett had the game winner. 2-1 over the Red Wings. Oh, April, I hope you're okay. 5 inches of snow down there. Are you showing people how to shovel it? Are you showing people how to make a snowman? Are you showing people how to freeze a hill in their backyard so they can go sledding? Mike Rowland, Mile High Rachel. I know, right? I thought the same thing. Eli, good morning. Great show. Go Birds. Thank you, Eli. You're the best. Jaylen was is a kite in that interview after the game. It was hilarious to watch. That's great. Why Niners won? Farzi, finally about to admit we dem Sixers. Oh, we dem Sixers admitted, but they're still going to the playoffs. Dakota, I know. I'm not insulted. Please. This made me think of my daughter. Rose. Hi, Rose. I don't trust Kellen more. Very distracted and seemed not to care about Jaylen's safety. Good God. He's a big Cowboy fan and shouldn't be an Eagles head coach. That's the best. He's a Cowboy fan. You want a Cowboy fan calling your plays? Burmy 777. Farzy, stay positive. If Eagles game is Sunday, has your heart rate increased? Leave the green room and have a little prayer to calm down. Yep, I will be praying. Mullet Alvarado. Hello. Off from my job of herding cats today, elementary school teacher. That boy Mullet. Enjoying the snow with my little... Oh, doggo. Doggo is the word. Sorry, mine's in a different place today. Oh, Johnny Moe. Thanks for all the positive takes and positive energy. You know, somebody yesterday wrote on my Farzy Show YouTube channel. They wrote, thanks for being bearable, which I took as a high compliment. Like in a world where agendas are just the number one thing, my agenda is truth, people. I feel like truth has become the hot take. Like there's so much like, no, I said this guy sucked 3 weeks ago, so I got to, no matter what he does, he still sucks. But I wasn't wrong. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Never understood that. I'm trying to do the Sean Gillespie. Is any team trying to poach any of the Commanders' coaches? Not that I've seen. Not that I've seen. By the way, speaking of the coach, do you guys know who a defensive assistant was? I think that's literally his title, defensive assistant for the LA Rams. I didn't know. I didn't really care where he went after here. Sean Desai was a defensive assistant, is a defensive assistant for the LA Rams. How about that? That's where he went. Oh, boy. Oh, April, you got to work? No. Hope my work is closed. Still waiting for it. Who cares about Vegas lines? A lot of people. That's a lot of people care. Yeah. Are there upsets? Absolutely. But they're favorites. I don't know why he gets such hate. Why Kenny gets hate? Kenny Pickett? I don't know. Kenny G? Sam Shepard? Great name. Samuel Shepard. Remember, Kenny G has a lot. Oh, Kenny Gainwell. Scoozy. Screen passes, which skew the numbers. Also, how do you think we stop Jayden Daniels? I think you have to have a quarterback spy. Godfrey Wilson. Bet US has him at 6. Thank you, Godfrey. Yeah, Billy Wagner made the Hall of Fame. I did see that, and I was looking for Pat Burrell's home run against him when he was with the Mets at Shea Stadium. And after the game, Billy Wagner, instead of saying, I got beat, he said, I threw it right at Pat Burrell's bat. Whatever helps you sleep at night, bro. Wait, what? Mullet? Farzy, you kick the truth to the young Philly youth. I got bars, boy. Thank you, Mullet. Oh, why not? You're up there in Dunmore. Okay. Fangio land. That's funny. Wait, did I miss Twiz? What's up, Twiz? Power rankings, we are last, but we are Super Bowl favorites. Yeah, isn't that fun? Wagner, Spurgeon King, you're absolutely right. Wagner totally turned heel after he left the Phillies. Remember, he said all this stuff like, man, Philly, they boo you if you don't hit 100. Okay, dude. It's a joke. It was a joke. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Flyers off tonight after their victory and their 6th consecutive point. They're back at it tomorrow night against the Rangers in New York, looking for their 4th straight win overall. So let's do that. 22-20-6 on the season after their overtime win, by the way. I didn't mention that overtime win over the Detroit Red Wings last night. Sixers, Cavs, tomorrow. No, wait. What the hell? Friday, 7 o'clock. Tonight, I will be at Tommy and Me, Ray Didinger's play. I'm taking mom and dad. I'm taking Joey and Eleanor. Taking them to the play to see Ray Dinninger's play, Tommy and me. I'll be hosting the Q&A afterwards with the audience, the talk back, if you will. So I look forward to seeing Ray Dinninger tonight and seeing that play for a third time. I love that play. It's such a great play. If you haven't seen it, People's Light Theater, look it up. You guys can buy tickets to it. They added another week to it. I think they just keep adding weeks because it's so popular. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay warm. And down there in the Carolinas, to my Carolina audience, Mullet and April, good luck to you guys down there in the snow. Hopefully you guys have your scrapers, your ice scrapers down there, and heat up that car before you get into it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we get a little bit of an update on Jalen Hurts. I'm sure we will when it comes to a walkthrough today at practice, and we could talk about that tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Be back with you guys tomorrow.